Greetings, everyone. And welcome to Tea and Magical Tidbits. Today's topic is going to be the art of the seance. And since this is the first segment, I will explain why it's called Tea and Magical Tidbits. Is because this segment is going to be based on having conversation. So grab yourself your favorite cup of tea and let's get into some pagan topics. So what I'm going to share with you today about seances is really what I've learned through study and personal experience. And I am by no means an expert. I'm still on my journey, but I have done some in practice and want to share what I have with you. For those of you who just might be interested in a topic or may want to try doing a seance yourself, might have been hesitant. So you have the traditional rules of a seance, which focus on a rule of 3. So you would have 3 candles. You would also need a circular table. Often the candles are white, it's a choice of color, and you would have a white tablecloth, and you would need at least 3 people. Obviously 3 being a magical number. And you would create what they call a circle of hands. If you don't have 3 people, you want to have some other number of people that is divisible by 3. And during the seance, the circle of hands acts as an energetic portal to allow the spirit to cross over and come through and to commune with those who are committed to the seance directly. So that is some of the traditional rules for a seance. Now I've done seances with those rules, and I've done seances outside of those rules, and the results that I've achieved were pretty much the same. I've done seance with 3 people, with a circular table, with 3 candles. I've done seance with 2 people, with a number of candles and no circular table. Just 2 people sitting across from each other, perhaps joining hands, or just asking spirit to come and commune. There is no particular science to this art. I think a lot of it is intuitive. But what you do want to do is take steps to protect yourself, no matter what option you choose to do when doing a seance. One way that you can protect yourself is through prayer. You can out loud say a prayer asking only the positive and good spirits, spirit guides, ancestral spirits, and loved ones to come through, and keeping at bay any negative entities. Another way is to create an egg of protection around yourself by way of an energetic shield. Some people do this through visualizing light around them, and again, asking for the positive and good spirits to come through and keeping any negative spirits at bay. Now, there are some seances where you can use tools. Yourself can be a tool. If you allow the spirit, give it permission to come and speak through you. Some people channel, where the spirit may use their vocal cords to speak, or some people might just relay the messages because they sense things through clairvoyance or clairaudience, or just intuitively know. Or you can use tools that are an extension of self that allow the spirit to come through and communicate with you without directly speaking through you or using your body as a way to communicate. You can use a pendulum if you want yes or no answers. You can use tarot cards if you want to do a reading inside of a seance. You can use a Ouija board as well as a means to communicate inside of a seance. You want to make sure to keep yourself a pen and pad as well to document any type of experiences that you may have after the seance has concluded. I would say to pay attention to your senses. Anything you might see, anything you might hear, any gut feelings, anything you might feel on your body. A certain area may feel warm and glowy, or maybe you might feel pain in a certain area. Any sensation can be a way that spirit is trying to communicate with you. Most often when you're dealing with relatives, there might be a way that spirit's trying to confirm who they are. So I will give you an example of when something like this has occurred to me. I was with one friend, and she was inviting another friend over for a seance. And as we were on the phone with her, my stomach began to glow, and it felt as if there was a warm golden glow to my stomach. And I asked if someone in her family, who had passed, had something related to the stomach. And the girl did not know, so she asked her mother, and I found out that when her grandma passed, it was due to cancer of the stomach. So that was spirit making itself known to me. Her grandma saying that she had a message to deliver to her that day and inviting her to the seance. Okay, you always want to also thank spirit for any messages that you receive, and just kind of show honor for them taking up the time to talk to you. And in my less structured seances, I would say less traditional seances, I've just used, I haven't used the table. It'll just be me, another person there, and kind of just opening ourselves up to spirit. Always have candles there, obviously, because the candles draw in the spirit and kind of act like a guided light, and the spirits can draw on the energy of the candle to help deliver messages. Also, watching the candle flame can be a way to tell whether a spirit's in the room, if the flame grows really high and steady, and if there's anything like a crackle or flickering, it's usually signs that spirit is trying to communicate with you. So when you see that, open yourself up and you say it out loud, or a little prayer in your head saying, I recognize spirit's trying to communicate with me. Allow me to hear the messages. You just have to have an open heart and not close yourself off, and be open to the experience in order to receive the messages fully. And the more you practice, the better you will get at the art of seance. I actually have a book that's being shipped to me by Raymond Buckland about communicating with spirits, and I will be sure to do a review of that book for you guys and share with you any new information that I find in the book that I think would be helpful. And as I grow on the in the path of mediumship, I will share with you what I learned along the way. And Raymond Buckland has another book also called Solitary Seance for those who might be interested in learning more about the art of seance. Some stones that I've used personally when doing seances, quartz, crystal quartz, to amplify energy. Opal is good for communication with spirit. Amethyst, psychic awareness and opening, and there are many other stones that you can use when communicating with spirit, as well as lapis lazuli, specifically for communicating with the ancestors. Now, there are other tools that can be used in a seance, but I personally have not worked with them, and they are connected to like very ancient magic. So I do plan to learn more about the science behind this and how it's done, but I've come across in research the use of mirrors and in seances as well. But I would say you would want to be careful with mirrors, just as you would want to be careful with Ouija board, because both of those items actually act as a portal. So when you're dealing with a portal, you're dealing with doors and opening doors, versus you just allowing spirit to communicate with you and relaying messages. So it's on another level, like a more advanced level. And I would say through my experiences, you know, you can sense spirit just like you sense a person. You can sense when you're around a person with good and positive energy, and you can sense when you're around a person with negative energy. And spirit works in the exact same way. You can sense if it's something positive, and you can sense if it's something negative. Just like you might be able, you may also just be sensing maybe tragedy or something that's happened, tension from the manner of death. So that's also where fine-tuning your intuitive feelers come in, and kind of being able to weed out what you're feeling exactly and what information you're giving. I would say in general, spirit feels like vibrations, and so you have to be aware of that as well when you're doing a seance, so you don't freak yourself out, just knowing that, you know, the whole reason we don't see spirit, and this usually on a common basis, and the science behind that is because though the realm exists right next to our realm, spirit is vibrating at a much faster rate than the physical realm, so not very noticeable to the physical eye, but because of that fast vibration, when spirit does make itself known, you may feel kind of like that buzzing energy, or it might come like something's making you feel anxious, or kind of just like a buzzing energy around you. And it's good to know that that is what that is, the vibration of spirit. So I also thought that for this segment I would share with you some of my favorite medium shows. I've enjoyed watching Teresa Caputo in the past, Long Island Medium, and interesting, I actually came across her book one time while in a thrift store, and she happened to just be on my mind, and there I was looking for her book, and there it was, a book by Teresa Caputo. I also enjoy The Dead Files with Amy Allen. She is really, really good. I like to watch the medium shows where they kind of get into the science behind it, and it's so good that I can it's to the point where I can take notes and then kind of research further and find out additional information. So The Dead Files is another good show, and I recently come across one called Rescue Mediums that is also really, really good. So you guys can check those out if you're interested. And just watching mediums in general will teach you about, you know, communication with spirit, and you could perhaps learn some tips on how to fine-tune your seances. So that is what I have to share with you. on this segment on seances. And be sure to stay tuned for more information about the art of seance and about communication with spirit as I continue on this spirit journey. And I will see all you guys next time. Blessed be.